We're live, Meredith. Take it away.
All right. Hello, everybody, and welcome to the indie event. We don't really have a title for this, except that we are sitting with Florida man, Mike Barron, and Chris, I'm going to say it wrong, Braly. You know what? My last name used to be Bewley, and everybody got that wrong too. So I was sorry. I apologize. What we're going to do is we're going to start off this panel with playing their promo because they've got an Indiegogo that is killing it right now. One moment, and let me play that for you.
Hey man, y'all got beer still?
You've seen the stories. Now, writer Mike Barron and artist Todd Mulrooney are bringing the quintessential Florida man, Gary Duba, to life. Gary's just a regular guy living in a trailer with his girlfriend Crystal, but he's got dreams, big dreams. He just invented house suspenders that will secure any home to the ground in rough weather. And now he's going to show them off on Piranha Pool, the TV show where venture capitalists and entrepreneurs pony up if they like your pitch. But when his gal Crystal gains notoriety as an infamous amateur wrestler, she quickly advances to the pro circuit where her greatest challenge is an angry Australian grappler. Follow Gary and Crystal on their extraordinary journey from rags to riches. To rags, to riches, to rags, to riches. All while dealing with shady lawyers, toilet snakes, wild gators, cheating hearts, feral hogs, and problem shoppers. Back Florida Man today and reserve your very own copy of the Florida Man graphic novel. We're bringing back funny books, y'all.
All right. Hey, we've got a full panel here.
So what'd you think of that video?
What did I think? I actually loved it. It's funny. It's hick. It is. I think I've got a family member who I won't name that fits in that description. Oh, well, you know what? Can we just go around and like Todd, Mike, and Chris? I would love for you guys to introduce yourselves. And for me personally, I love the Genesis story, like how you guys got together and all that stuff. But let's introduce ourselves first, okay? Let's see. There you go. Hi, Mike.
Hi.
It is such a pleasure to meet you. Can you just tell us a little bit about yourself? I know you've got a long history with comic books, and it is such a pleasure to have you here.
Thank you. I broke into comics in 1981 with Nexus, which I co-created with Steve Rude. We were in the right place at the right time. Capital City Distribution was the second largest comic book distributor in the world. It was a $20 million company with a footprint in 8 nations. And they decided they wanted to start publishing their own comics. So I brainstormed Nexus. I wrote the first 12 pages. I drew them out by hand, which is how I used to write comics in that day, feeling along like an inchworm. I gave him to Dude to illustrate. He knocked it out of the park, and we showed it to the boys. And they said, yeah. So they published Nexus. And then a little later after that, they published Badger, my second creation, and we were off and running. And because of those 2 titles, I was invited to write Punisher for Marvel and Flash for DC and many other titles over the years. Florida Man just hit me between the eyes one day while clicking on the internet and seeing my 200th Florida Man story. They just kept coming at me, and I realized that Florida Man had chosen me to tell his story. So I distilled it down into one character, Gary Duba. Who does not attempt to encompass all the Florida Man stories, because there are literally 20,000 of them by now. And it was going to be a comic initially, and I wrote up 5 scripts, and when I was done with it, I realized I had a detailed outline for a novel. So I wrote the novel, and I sold the novel, and it's by far my most popular novel. And then, you know, I'd known Todd. I'd seen his art somewhere, and I wanted to team up with him. So the comic was always in the back of my mind. And then for some reason, it circled back again. And we somehow connected with Chris, and he offered to run the show. I couldn't run the show. I can barely operate this computer. So I revamped the script. I added a whole bunch of new material, and that's where the Florida Man graphic novel came from.
Mm-hmm. And who do we want to go to? Chris, why don't we pull you up here real quick on the big screen, and then we'll bring the rest of the group in.
Thanks for having us, Meredith.
I appreciate you.
I've been a fan of Mike Barron, just sort of his writing and reputation kind of precedes itself. And Mike is a reader of the Internet Journal, Bleeding Fool, that I helm. And I saw that cover that Todd Mulrooney did of this wild bumpkin. You know, it looked like he was jumping a couple of hot rods in an alligator with an alligator, going yee-haw for Florida Man. And of course, I've laughed at some Florida Man stories, and I thought it was a hit of a comic book idea, and that's where it was headed. It was headed to comics, and I just basically told Mike I was rooting for him. And then that original plan that they had just kind of crumbled, and Mike's already established himself with a publisher for his prose novels. So he put together Florida Man as a prose, and had taken Todd's cover, because Todd had created some images, character designs, and a little bit of art to try and pitch it as a comic. So when that didn't go the way they planned, it went with a publisher just as a prose novel. And then I reached out to Mike, I think, correct me if I'm wrong, Mike, but I reached out and said, hey, whatever happened to that Florida Man comic? And he said, just kind of told me the sad news. And he said, I told him, I said, you ought to crowdfund it, because that's sort of the hot thing to do with your indie projects now, your own creations. And he was hit, but he said he didn't know how to do it. And he said, if you want to do it, we'll do it. So I thought about it for about 5 seconds and said, yeah, let's do this. And Todd was, of course, back on board. He is a big fan of Mike, wanted to see this project to its fruition. And so I just sort of took my project management experience, applied it to the gig, and tried to get a little press. I probably was a squeaky wheel to you, Meredith, Geek Insider. And, you guys put out a nice story for us, and here we are.
Excellent. It's funny how it's kind of a small world. Everybody thinks it's such a big one, but it really isn't. I do want to pull up Todd up here and let him introduce himself. Kind of like how you got involved with the project.
Like Mike said, he reached out to me and asked me for some, the main characters, to do some concept sketches, or show me who you think they are. And he gave me some bios for each character, a little bit of snippets that he wrote on IM, and I sort of took it from there and thought about it and thought, I lived in Florida for 4 years, and just tried to create a lot of flavor of what Florida has, and not just sort of hone in on, some of these pictures we see are people that, man, they're just look down on their luck, and they're out there acting like knuckleheads. So I just kind of gave it a little bit of flavor, and we ended up with Gary and Floyd and Crystal as the 3 main characters. And then I did 3 pages, which took me about 2 or 3 months to get them to Mike, and because I was involved in some other things. And me and Mike were working on something for a anthology. And I had done a page of that and stuff. So we had pages, and he shopped them around and connected with some of his, friends in the industry, and we didn't get any traction. And then we got involved with a upstart company that has put out 2 products. And then, they disappeared again. So we had a cover from that, and we had these 3 pages, and, a lot of traction. Honestly, people knew who I was because of the cover. A lot of people had seen it, and it really surprised me. So I'm glad we're back here today because of the conversation Chris and Mike had, because at the end of the day, the script that I'm working from is absolutely fantastic. It definitely needed to get out there. Some of Mike's best work, as far as the it doesn't really slot anywhere. It's obviously not superheroes, right? I mean, Nexus was fantastic, and Punisher was amazing, but this is a different thing, and it's like it hasn't been done, and there isn't really much like it out there. I mean, it really, there is nothing you could say, oh, it's kind of like this or it's kind of like that. There isn't. So it's a fantastic, unique idea, and you know what? We're going to bring it to you.
And I want to pass this off to Varian because he just left me a quick message that said we're on Indie Volt Radio right now. So thank you guys, Varian.
Yeah.
I'm bringing you guys on the show so that you can talk shop and comics and Florida Man and all that stuff. So I mean, take the floor, Randy, Rob, Varian. You're in here. Don't let me do all the talking.
Well, don't let Randy take the floor. He's got his soapbox. I know it's there. He's got his soapbox.
It's right next to me.
Right over.
I can pull it up anytime you need it.
Yeah. Hi everybody. I'm Varian Grant, founder of Indie Volt Media LLC. Started making comics myself back in 2008. Started a company called Last Call Comics. Been doing that ever since. And then I started Indie Volt Media LLC, which has branched off into a couple other things. And I remember seeing the first time I seen the Florida Man image. It was him jumping over the car with the alligator, and I'm like, this is awesome. Like, and it just so happened that I had just come back from Florida, so I'm like, yes, like this is great. And then it came back around when we covered it on indievolt.com, which is I knew that when they had pulled it off of Reddit, and Mike came on thanks to Pops got Mike on my show, and Mike stole the hearts of everybody on our show when he said, I don't even know what Reddit is. It was awesome. It was terrific. And then, by the way, Meredith, there's a delay in between because you're not signed in the Indie Vault. There's a delay in between from the numbers. So basically, what they're hearing on Indie Vault, they'll hear in about 50 seconds. But your numbers right now we got 16,800 people listening, so that's nice. And
Wow.
The number one country right now listening is France, so that's cool.
France.
Wow. Awesome.
Let's all sing the Marseillaise.
Varian, say something stupid. Get that number up.
I don't know the lyrics. The only thing I know about France is Four Eyes and
The number will climb as we go along, though, as more people realize that we're talking on the air as opposed to playing music.
yeah.
It seems like friends tell friends, and it just grows crazy. So
Indie Vault is awesome. You guys are awesome.
Thank you.
we've gotten up to the 40,000s worldwide.
Yeah,
just this week, in fact, 45.
I got a nice bill the next day. Everyone else is excited except for me.
Right, 'cause it's
He has to pay for the bandwidth.
Yeah. The wife wasn't excited either. We were like, everyone's and we're like,
So anybody who wants to sponsor a wide reach
yeah.
of a worldwide audience, let Varian know. He can definitely use it.
And I was going to say, Mike
$10,000
did tell me you could carry a tune, so I was joking around that I have a face for radio. I wasn't meant to be in this live streaming stuff, so I don't even know how I got here. But
I always joke around that we have a face for radio.
right,
All of us do, so it's all
so
good.
Again, you guys have been doing comics for a long time. I actually have a show called The Comic Noob because I'm a newbie. It's something that I've always wanted to do, but never had the time because life kind of got in the way, marriage, kids, divorce, and all that stuff. So again, when it comes to this whole process, it's so fascinating for me. And I don't want to take the floor because this isn't about me. We do want to talk about Florida Man. We do want to have that broad reach. Now, Indiegogo is you do ship worldwide, yes?
You do. It just costs a little bit more. It's
Okay.
about double outside of the U.S.
Mm-hmm. So tell us a little bit about the swag. Whose idea was that? Because that beach towel is crazy.
Well, Todd created the design, and the idea was Chris's. Chris is running this show. I wouldn't know how to run a crowdfunder.
He knows as much about crowdfunding as he does about Reddit. Now his wife knows about crowdfunding. She's
very good.
Yeah, he just did. Todd was talking about Nexus, and Mike was talking about Nexus. That was Mike's breakthrough, and he just completed a successful Kickstarter for Nexus.
For a novel.
Yeah.
It's a prose novel.
Yeah.
Cool.
No, we would, Todd, one of the things that Todd really insisted on for this crowdfund is to make it an event. You've got some creators that when they offer you more than just a floppy comic. And in today's environment, I think that fans of comic books or people that are going to spend a little more money than they would just going to their local shop like it to be like they're opening something for Christmas. And on Bleeding Full every Wednesday, we cover 3 crowdfunding comics. It's New Comic Book Day, and so we're promoting crowdfunding comics. And so we're up to about 100 issues of that. We call it issues, episodes, whatever you want to call it. But we've done nearly 300 of these crowdfunding comics. So having observed what other campaigns have done, some succeeding and some not, and taking some advice from some other former pros who are also crowdfunding, I just thought, let's have some fun with this. What are some fun pieces of swag? And I really wanted the lunchbox, because I've got one over here, an old 70s Spider-Man one.
Sweet.
And I put that together, and then it just made sense to do a beach towel because it's Florida Man. And how many people go to Florida just to go to the beach? And it just lends itself to it. This is such a wacky character. We just thought, what else can we do? So we sort of took the color blue from the Florida Gators and used that as our T-shirt. And of course, when you go to Florida without your friends, you send postcards. So we've got postcards. And we're, other than the towel and the lunchbox, everything should kind of all fit in one of those Gemini mailers, we're hoping. So it won't increase the shipping too terribly. But we're going to throw in some other little goodies in there, some stickers and stuff like that. Make it fun. We want you to open it like a loot crate and just be thrilled when you get it. That's the fun of it. That's why we've got the beach party, which is, like Todd said, the whole kit and caboodle. That is the featured tier perk, but it's a pretty low barrier to entry if you just want the graphic novel, and you can always add on some of these things you want once you've decided on which perk you're going to get. So you could get the towel and just the book, or you could get the book and even a discount for a second book. We didn't want you to pay the same amount twice, so we wanted it to be like a comic shop. When you come in, we'll give you 2 for a little bit less than the price of 2.
I'd like to talk about the book itself for a minute.
Please.
This is the funniest comic ever written. It's not a comic that promises humor. It's not about puns and jokes. This comic will make you burst out loud laughing multiple times. Your head will explode. Your eyes will bulge out from their sockets. And as soon as you're finished, you're going to turn to the person closest to you and shove the comic in their hands and say, "You have to read this."
The whole thing, the script is built not on sight gags. I mean, there's a lot of little Easter eggs in it. Like if you see a phone number on a billboard, we dare you to call it. But it's like a Rube Goldberg machine, so that these things continue to build and these layers of things that are going on, so that just the simplest little trigger, once you've seen the buildup, is just going to make you piss your pants. Yeah.
We can't tell you what's in it. We can't tell you what's in it. It's too shocking. There's nothing grisly or offensive or morbid in it, or obscene either. It's PG-13, but it will make your head explode. I guarantee it.
Well, as soon as I saw the mullet, I was dead. So I think that was from the mind of Todd. Now, Randy, I've been on enough of your shows and I've watched enough that I've never seen you this quiet.
Oh, I'm letting everybody else speak. Why? What do you want me to add?
If you've got anything to add or ask or anything.
There's not a week that goes by, anybody who's friended me on Facebook, who's seen my timeline, that I don't catch a Florida Man story and post it and say, "Hey, folks, it's the further adventures of Florida Man." It's as soon as I saw the the initial art and the cover for it, the first thing that popped into my head was money. That book's going to make a lot of money because it appeals. It doesn't just appeal to comic fans; it appeals to everybody. This is the kind of book, just from the look of it, that you would walk into a souvenir shop down in Florida and find and pick up and go, I got to have this. I can't. I sincerely hope that you guys plan on taking that around to some of the swag shops down in Florida, up and down the coast, and offer them to sell it in their shops.
We're going to use Destin as a test market, Randy.
We do have a retailer tier, thanks to Todd, so that comic shops who are interested can get the book at a discount.
I'm up here in Michigan, and I'm a really big fan of the self-published local book. Mm-hmm. So I can't help but see this being a big moneymaker for you guys.
Todd has already done the research and found every local comic shop in Florida. So we've got that list. And, of course, Mike mentioned we've got the tier. And, Todd, you're from Florida. Not from Florida, but you were in Florida for a while. Isn't that right?
Nope, we don't hear you.
Todd, you're not on.
I lived in Florida during my college years, and it was quite an experience, but of a different type. I didn't run into any of this kind of stuff. I ran into a lot of I don't know, let's call them female problems.
A John Waters movie, isn't it?
Chris mentioned about the event, and here's kind of the thinking beyond that is sort of, we're asking you to put money down that we kind of hold. You got to pay for shipping. You can't go get this book for $5.99. That's obvious. But we want to engage you. So it's a lot of that. This whole thing with the YouTube and doing things like this where we're on your show and we're talking to you. We do this, we do this daily, but we do it in this sphere of social media too. So the event is all about sort of breaking that veil between the creators and the consumers.
Okay, I am actually trying to get Rob over here, if he's listening, to actually do a screen share so that we could see your Indiegogo in action.
Mary, I could have did that.
I was going to say I could do that too.
Yeah.
Oh, sweet. Yeah.
If either one of you want to do it, I don't have the link.
Okay.
That's on. All you have to do is pop over to Indiegogo and type in Florida Man in the search. It's going to pop right up.
Yeah. And he's telling people that.
Help them see it.
He's telling people that for people who listen on the radio because those people, obviously they can't see us. But I did also post it. Number went up to 24K right now. So UK's top right now, followed by Mexico, Italy, and then Japan, which is weird because they're all on different time zones. So I'm wondering who's supposed to be asleep.
We really want to actually kind of talk to the international market in the sense of, you know what? Come laugh at us. This is a subculture that we have, and it's really not just in Florida, but there's a Florida Man meme. There's a Florida Man hashtag. There's multiple Florida Man sites. But this is that sort of, oh my God, these Americans are a bunch of silly folks. Yes, and we have them in the Appalachian Mountains. We have them in the Rocky Mountains. So, you know what? If you're interested in laughing at America, this is the book for you.
It is definitely the book.
It is, yeah.
I have to say that the story has a great deal of depth. It's and in many ways, Gary's the most admirable character in the book because I created him that way. He's not a person of derision. He's a good-hearted guy, but he's got a hair-triggered temper. He makes a lot of bad decisions, and he's always looking for the next get-rich-quick scheme.
Mm-hmm. And how many people do we know like that?
I was feeling personally attacked for a minute. That's pretty much me. I see that you guys went from 56 pages to 64.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Keeps growing.
And now there are different tiers as far as that's concerned. If you hit certain levels with the fundraising, are you adding more pages? Are you adding more?
There is that possibility in there. Some of the first stretch goals are really based on refining the product, getting on the best paper, that kind of stuff, and giving you a few extra things for that box. So eventually, as we get, hopefully we'd love to get it out there and have it be 80 pages, but that's there, and we'll see. That's a different stretch goal that we've talked about. But you know what? The story is in that 64 pages. The genesis of everything that really gives you an idea of what Gary and his friends are about is right there.
Mm-hmm. And just for the radio listeners, we're kind of scrolling through some of the panels and stuff, and you see somebody in a bunny costume, and obviously women wrestlers and things like that. I kind of feel bad for Gary because he's, again, like you were saying, he means well, but he just makes all the wrong decisions, and it's kind of funny for the international listeners and just people who are tuning in later. I think we all know somebody who's like that, who just is like, if I just do this, I don't want to throw out a name, but and get in trouble, but like Amway or something like that. It's like, if you do this, you're going to get rich. Just sign in and it's like, add all your people.
There's those stretch goals right there, Meredith. I didn't mean to cut you off, but they're right there on the screen. Yeah. So the first one was 20,000. So that's when we upped not just the page count, but also the paperweight. So
yes. Oh, that's right. The paper quality.
Mm-hmm.
Very nice. Now doesn't that increase the weight of the book?
It does. It does.
Your readers will thank you.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
We want, again, at the end of it, yes, it might make a lot of money, and wouldn't it be cool if it turned into a Hank Hill cartoon on Netflix one day, something like that? But, we just want people to read this book and think that was the funniest damn Mike Baron comic I've ever read. I'm going to read it again, or I'm going to give it to my friend, or I'm going to, store it, or I'm going to sell it, or I'm going to keep it forever. I'm going to read it once a year or whatever. We want it to be a nice event, so we've added all these other neat little things, increasing the page count, increasing the paper weight, increasing the cover weight.
Mm-hmm.
And we're going to get there. I think we just hit 300%, so we're pretty happy about that.
Yeah,
very cool. And how many more days? I missed that at the beginning when we were
they
scrolling.
are at 23 days left.
Yep, 23 days. Yeah,
nice.
We still got 3 weeks. Yeah.
I mean, so we just have to keep pushing this and try and unlock some more of those. I mean, personally, I would rather get the better quality paper.
Yes. Yeah.
So
let me ask you that, since I've got a bunch of comic fans here right now, because I've been wondering this. Do you prefer the slick paper, or do you like the toothy, heavier paper that's not slick, that's not even matte finished? What are you guys' thoughts?
I'm for the toothier paper.
I'm just for bright colors.
I like newsprint.
That's what I
like.
like.
I do too. I like newsprint too, but this printer doesn't.
Don't get Varian started on newsprint.
Oh, Varian. Okay. Well, let's hear what you think, Varian. Do you like
from
slick?
A whole different school?
I glossy.
I do like glossy. But you guys gotta understand something. I have if you make a comic and you make a chrome cover, I'm gonna buy it. I have a problem.
Wow.
See, you can hear my wife in the back. She's like, I have a problem. I go to bookstores. We have a second in Charles here, and I'll go through the old books, and I'm pulling up books like Clive Barker's. What's the name of his book, Hyperkind? And I throw it to the side because the cover's all chrome. And she's like, "You have that book? You have 5 copies of that book?" And I'm like, "I don't care. The cover's chrome." Yeah. And now my son does it. He's like, "Chrome, we gotta have this, Dad." So yeah, the minute I just have a paper problem, So if it's and if the pages are slick and glossy, that's nice. As long as the ink gets into the page, because that's sometimes that slicker paper, the ink tends to rub off.
Yeah, and that's terrible on black pages for sure, or just smears on the page itself. Yeah.
Or your fingerprints end up in the book. It's kind of weird.
Yeah. We don't want that kind of experience. We want you to like the book. We want you to be able to loan it out and eventually get it back, and it still be in pretty good, shape. for rereading and stuff like that. So we're still working on that. It seems to cost more to get the toothier paper, though, just so you know.
Yeah. $30,000 gets you guys 100 pounds paper stock, which is I don't think I've ever even seen that paper stock before.
It's a cover variant. 100
is that cover stock? Is it?
Yeah, it's basically a cover with glossy. Most covers that are 100. The Avocator, the inner pages, I believe, are very close to it. That's 90. So imagine the Avocator or Barbara Unleashed with just a little bit of a thickness.
Mm-hmm. It's as thick as you can go on the interior paper.
Okay.
Yeah, there's no thicker than that. It's actually overkill for any book under, I think they say about 40 pages, because it'll stiffen it to the point where it's uncomfortable to turn the pages.
Randy, you may not want us to get to 60,000 then, Randy, because we go all the way to 110 and 130-pound cover.
I'm not afraid.
You won't even be able to bend these pages.
Yeah, we're going for square bound anyway, so it'll thicken it, and it might be a little bit stiffer to open, to read in that sense, but you'll enjoy the experience either way.
If we get to 75,000, Mike is going to get really angry because he has got this comic perfectly paced, and for us to even think about adding 16 more pages, I guess
not a problem.
Okay.
Not a problem. I have so much material. I have enough material. We could turn this into a monthly book and go on forever.
It could be. It could. Yeah, it really could.
Well, I was going to ask you about that with the material that you're getting. Is it coming out of the news? Is it coming out of your life experience, or just something your neighbor did?
A little bit of everything. I was inspired by the Florida Man stories, but when I decided to make it about a very specific person, I had to create that person out of the whole cloth. So Gary's my own creation. There are elements of the story that have appeared in the news, and you saw one of them in the trailer when the guy goes into the convenience store clutching the alligator. That's in the comic, but there's a whole bunch of stuff in the comic that has not actually occurred in real life, but would if they thought of it. And it's just outrageous. I cannot tell you what's in it. I can't give away the prizes, but I guarantee you that you will laugh out loud and your head will explode.
It's also, it hasn't happened yet. Give Florida time. Give Florida
time.
Hey, why don't we make Michigan Man? I've been seeing some of the stories coming out from your quarantine. I saw a video of what Varian sent me. Some woman banging on the Wendy's door. Let me in. She looked like she had corona and every other disease.
That was our governor.
You listen.
We'll do Michigan woman.
Randy gives me hell about that because he knows that I have an unreasonable crush on our governor.
Yeah, and Starscream.
And Starscream, yeah. Which you can't hate me for that, but yeah, I have a crush on Gretchen Whitmer. It's weird. I don't know why. Strong woman, I guess. I don't get it. I do have a question for the team.
She's a sucker for a bossy brunette. That's what it is.
She's really the hero. I mean, I guess she gets into trouble, but she's a strong Florida woman. Maybe that's the sequel. Florida gal.
Yeah, Florida gal.
I do have a question for the team, though. What do you guys think? Like at the response right after you got pulled off of Reddit. Do you think that helped really push it over? Because I mean, like it just exploded, and the next day, I looked at it. I looked at the campaign, and there was, like you had already blown past the initial funding. It actually kind of helped in a way, don't you think?
Oh yeah, it was the Streisand effect.
Yeah, the actual Streisand effect. the actual one. Sorry, we had someone who told us they had the Streisand effect earlier, and they did not. No, but that was the actual Streisand effect, exactly.
Yeah,
because I saw the art for it before. I didn't realize it was already a campaign. But when you got tossed off of Reddit and saw it was a campaign, it's like, oh, got to buy in.
I had never heard of Reddit until they banned us.
Yeah.
It's funny because it was Todd's idea. Todd and I were sitting up late one night, and do you guys know Christian Toto, film critic? he's got a website called Hollywood in Toto, and he was like saying, "Have you ever posted stuff on Reddit?" So I asked Todd that night, and I said, "Look, I just posted the Florida Man thing. Why don't you go like it?" And he did the same thing too. And but within an hour, one of the moderators had seen. I mean, it was just the most boring post. Hey, check out this Mike Barron book. I can't wait. I hope this happens, or something like that, right? But I was shilling because I'm on board the team, and the moderator canceled it, and so I'm kind of bitching about it. I don't know if I can say that here. Sorry if I can't.
No, you can. We'll let you.
Okay, thanks. I was kind of grousing about it on Facebook, and a couple of friends of mine who run other websites said, "You got any screenshots of that?" And so I shared the screenshots from the moderator, and the next thing you know, Captain Frugal did a video, Clownfish TV did a video, Bounding Into Comics did a story, the Splintering Society. It just started snowballing. And I said, well, I guess I'd better do a story on Bleeding Fool about this, or I've just gotten scooped by my own story. And but it did. It really blew up. And I recorded on my phone all these Indiegogo contributions coming in. So we're very thankful for that happy accident. And hey, if anybody else wants to ban us, it's at Florida Man Comic on Indiegogo. Get out there, get us banned. Just let us know that you banned it, so that we can tell our friends, and they can get mad at you and laugh at you and say, well, just to thumb our noses at you, we're gonna go get that retailer tier. So
the ironic thing about this is that Florida Man has no agenda, that our only purpose is to entertain you like no other book has ever done before. It's completely apolitical in every way.
So that's a good point. Yeah, that's a good point, because the only reason they banned me and the book is because Bleeding Fool, we come at things from a slightly different perspective than Bleeding Cool does. And there are people who are mad that we've given fair coverage to things like Comicsgate, or that I get mad when they screw up She-Hulk. I'm an IST or an OB or whatever the names calling that goes on these days when you don't agree with whatever Disney is deciding to do to your favorite characters. You don't like that Luke drank, the hobo Luke drank the blue milk tits. Well, you're an OB-ist, whatever. And I'm just like, no, I just like the legacy characters. So we come at things from that angle. And apparently moderators of 1.3 million comic book fans can say, hey, you're out of here. And I wasn't even trying to be ugly or anything like that. I'm never trying to be ugly, but sometimes I don't have the most popular opinions.
Chris is a gentleman.
Thank you, Mike.
Yeah, and we're actually going through the video here on the Indiegogo. For anybody listening again, make sure that you head over to the Indiegogo site, do a search for Florida Man. You're going to find that immediately, and you're going to see what us crazy Americans are doing, at least in the southern tip of the United States. Because I have to say, there's a funny story when in my old neighborhood, the neighbor behind me was having this huge argument, and I guess the guy slammed the door and he's walking out. He's like, you can't talk to me like that. You ain't even my woman.
This reminds me of those old Animal House movies that they used to make, or Stripes or things like that. They don't really make movies like that anymore. And this is kind of in that, not necessarily that vernacular, but it just reminds me of that era of comedy. Just raw.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's great.
I have to say, I have been to Florida many times.
Oh, me too. My mother-in-law lives there. We go twice a year. Mm-hmm. And we're not really trying to make fun of Florida people, obviously. This is just the quintessential Florida guy that epitomizes all of, a lot of the crazy stories. So if you do make fun of the redneck hillbilly people, you may think this is funny. You probably will. But if you are a lover of all things NASCAR or country music or the Dukes of Hazzard and Waylon Jennings and all that, you're going to think this is funny too. The music video or the trailer reminds me of the old Duke boys that Waylon Jennings used to narrate. You know what I mean? So it's just that kind of vibe.
I have to say that there's not a gram of condescension in this book.
No, not at all. Not at all.
Mhm.
It's just situational.
It's all situational.
Yeah, which kind of surprises me that have you had any kind of pushback as far as people being offended because of, the
No.
Florida man and stuff?
No, not that I'm aware of.
No, they haven't. Nothing on my end either. Todd, anybody on your end?
No, not at all. About nothing to do with Florida man. As far as the, well, I mean, nobody's picked on me about like, hey, you're picking on this or nothing like that. So I get called names, I don't know, weekly, for having whatever viewpoint I have at a particular moment. But Florida Man has been well received. We haven't had anybody, refunded or anything like that. I mean, there's outside our doors, there's a bunch of craziness. Didn't really think, my honest opinion, didn't really think that a book about a subculture during the time when we're having some kind of culture war would be such a hit. And I'm really, really glad it is. You're going to be entertained, and you're going to love this book,
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think around the time that you guys were booted off of Reddit is when I caught wind of it, and so we were like, hey, you know what? Let's just do some promo and stuff on Geek Insider, and then that's how I got in contact with Chris, among other things, which has been great, and I love seeing that your numbers are climbing. Speaking of numbers climbing, Varian, where are we now?
Oh, look, I know I'm here. I'm just kidding. So, yeah. Cool. So, we're sitting at 42,000 right now.
There we go.
42,800 and just 830.
Wow.
So, yeah, they are, and again, still the UK's in the lead, followed by now Japan, Italy, and we have our good friends from Brazil. Yeah, Brazil's there too, so that's cool.
Brazil.
Yeah, Brazil. I'm used to Paraguay being in there, but for some reason it's not giving me their numbers right now. So
what about China? How's China doing?
China's numbers under, they dropped out too again.
Yeah,
but they are probably listening because the numbers sometimes they'll give you like the top 4 to 5 countries that are listening. And it actually this morning gave me really cool. It was really cool because it actually broke it down by country, how many people were listening, and then it stopped doing that. So, but they listen to us on a couple different platforms. They may download the IndieVolt app on Google. They can listen to it on iOS if they have Streamer. They can also listen to it on the IndieVolt.com website, as well as on I better pause her.
Hey, I want to give a shout out to Pops Van Zant, who's been promoting us ceaselessly. Pop's a good old Florida boy. And he has a convention every weekend, which is he puts on over the Facebook.
Yeah.
And he's a friend of all comic book creators.
That's under Comics Related Madness.
That's right. Comics Related Madness on Facebook.
Yep.
Comics Related Madness. That's right. And now, I got to ask you guys about IndieVolt real quick. I don't mean to cut you off, Randy, but
go ahead.
or Valer, is this do you guys have? Is this your Twitter, Indie_Volt?
Mm-hmm.
Is it? Yeah. I think so. Yeah.
I was just there. It is.
Yeah.
I just want to mention the IndieVolt audience is one of the only audiences we're getting right now. We thank all the Facebook people who are trying to connect with us. Yeah. Facebook has had a code issue since yesterday. So all of you tuning in from Facebook, we really appreciate you fighting the app, trying to get it to reload. We really appreciate. We suggest that you go to the YouTube to get the feed for Geek Insider. What's the address for the Geek Insider on YouTube, Meredith?
I want to say it is youtube.com/C/Geek Insider.
Yeah, please do that for this weekend because we don't know how Facebook's going to be affecting things. Thank you, everyone listening on IndieVolt. You guys are making this show awesome, and you all can watch the replay uninterrupted on YouTube because I know a couple people are telling me that the video is crashing.
Make sure you send us a link to that YouTube channel.
Yeah, so we appreciate everyone watching. Please continue to try to reload your app. You guys are awesome. Thank you.
And I just want to say that, on the Geek Insider YouTube channel, it has the central playlist. So for the whole indie event, which I also want to help promote, we've got about 40 hours of content. People are bringing in their live streaming shows. This isn't something that we're completely moderating from front to back. We're actually bringing in indie creators, which is why I think it's great that we have Mike, Todd, and Chris in here talking about this book. I mean, you guys are killing it with Florida Man, and you're still indie creators. It's not like you've got the big money coming at you, being thrown at you. And I mean, I really hope that the Hollywood producers come knocking on your door, or maybe Adult Swim or something, crazy like that to get this animated and stuff, because again, Florida Man is it's so funny, and there are so many people that I personally know, whether they're in my family circle or not, who is this guy.
Yep.
We know that guy.
The toilet snake is real. I can't tell you how many stories I've heard about the toilet snakes in Florida. And the toilet snake is going to prove pivotal in the next issue.
Well, I haven't had that, but we do have a snake in our backyard. It's I've never seen my husband run so fast or vault over the fence. As quick, that man doesn't move that fast, but he does if there's a snake. But the other day, and this is a funny story, for some reason, Florida wants to make the word cockroaches really pretty, so they call it palmetto.
Yeah, we never use the word cockroach in the book. It's all palmetto bugs.
So I was sitting at my desk, and out of the corner of my eye, I saw something moving. And I looked up, and there were these huge antennas just sitting on top of my webcam, just peeking out like that. And I went, what the heck? I almost had a heart attack. So there was a big old palmetto just sitting on my webcam, watching me doing whatever I was doing. And my goodness, I almost had a heart attack. But no, palmettos, really nice word in Florida for cockroach.
Just getting an education and taking notes. That's all.
Yeah.
Oh.
There's a few things in this book that we have kind of talked about other places, but obviously you've seen that there's wrestling, right? Every car that's in this book is sort of pre-80s and looks kind of cool and stuff like that. So there's a lot of fun things outside of just this being a book about that subculture. There's a lot in here for everyone. Like the wrestling scene is going to be freaking amazing. So I've seen wrestling comics, and they're kind of biopics of
Right.
in a comic format. This is going to be almost like you're pulling it out of the TV. I did a deep dive into female wrestling, and these girls, which I used to kind of like when they came on the screen. My son used to watch wrestling. When they would come on the screen and go, oh God, the girls, you know what I mean? Jesus. But they are freaking amazing, because their hair, when they're jumping and flying and getting off the mat, their hair goes in front of their eyes. I don't know how they stand. You got to give them some freaking credit, because there's an element there that isn't, in the male wrestling. So I did my little deep dive, and I'm going to make that really a special area of the book for wrestling fans. And of course, like I said, there's cars in there for car fans. All the girls are beautiful. All the zaniness will be there. So I hope the international fans that are listening will jump on this book. You can find it at Indiegogo, which is a crowdfunding site, under Florida Man. You can't miss it. You'll see the alligator biting the girl's rear end. And we have a great trailer. Even if you just go watch the trailer just for how, this was a stellar trailer. Amazing job that Chris did. You can't sell a book with just going up there and saying, hi, I'm Todd. This is my lifelong passion to draw a comic book. No, you sell a book with a trailer, almost like you're like an event, like a movie. And this is the best one. I swear to you, this is the best one on the internet.
Meredith, I think you're muted.
Todd's too kind.
So I think that's the beach towel, right?
Yes. That's the copper tone homage. I'm curious what Todd's wife thought when he said, "Honey, I'm doing a deep dive of research in ladies wrestling. Please, this is work related." Have you seen some of these women? They're gorgeous and they're strong. And again, I mentioned earlier, Crystal, Gary's girlfriend, is really probably one of the more heroic. At least she's very brave. And because her wrestling training, I'm not going to get into that, but the wrestling training is more dangerous than the actual wrestling itself. So it's a.
How about roller derby?
Oh yeah, maybe for the sequel. That's not in this one.
That's a northern sport.
Yeah,
That is.
Maybe
It
they
is
go up north.
northern.
Florida man in New York, maybe we'll do that.
That's something for Michigan.
There you go.
Randy, you need to join the creative team. We're going to start calling you once a week and spitball ideas.
There you go. Yeah.
Well, you guys are tearing it up on Indie Volt. I love it. You guys have so much fun on that show.
We do.
But when I went to the Twitter, it's almost like it's just a robot tweeting. That's why I asked if that was you guys or if that's just a bot.
No, that's Varian. He's a bot when he wants to be.
Yeah, we're all. I mean, part of this event is hopefully that we're all kind of building up our social networking and finding those opportunities to connect with new people and stuff. So, and that is building up the YouTube channels, the Twitter, and the Facebook, Instagram, and actually supporting a lot of the Kickstarter and Indiegogos, because that's a lot of people, with being kind of shut down and everything. Not to turn it to the big C word, but. Conventions are closed down. Yep. Go ahead, Randy.
Oh no, I just being a smart ass.
Yeah. No, there are other C words, but we won't mention them here. But no, and it's been really tough. This was the weekend that we were going to be doing Tampa Bay Comic Con, and I was hoping that I was going to be live streaming there and just walking down the alleys and talking to people and getting pictures and stuff like that, and that didn't happen. And we were all scrambling as an indie community, I want to say, what the hell are we going to do now? And, just events like this popping up. I don't want to call it it's not a Comic Con. It's an event because we're all bringing our different platforms together. And it's been really a beautiful thing and mostly positive. I haven't heard anything negative. And I know that we're only on day one. Have you guys heard anything?
Not a word.
Yeah.
No.
There's always going to be haters, but they're just hating the fact that we're doing something positive for our community and we're not trying to make ourselves front and center. Most of these things is always front and center. A lot of credit to Geek Insider for all the love they've shown the community. Randy Zimmerman and Varian and Lola over on Indie Volt. I always say Indie Volt's always the one kicking open the gate, stopping the gatekeeping. They're letting other people be represented in the field. It takes a big community of people to make other creators get noticed and not want the recognition. You don't see Varian trying to say that he invented anything. He's just doing what he can to help people. So I respect the hell out of everyone who's come together this weekend.
Even though he has, and it's a little smelly, but it's okay.
Well, yeah, I'm thinking about. I wanna rename Indie Vault. I'm thinking about renaming and get like theworld.com. And then so I can say, when I created the world.
Real quick, I just wanted to know, how's the job at Domino's going?
Oh, yeah, it does look like I work at Domino's, doesn't it? This is the...
Either that or AutoZone.
No. I think AutoZone is red, right? They're red and black. Yeah.
What?
No, this is the...
My pizza's late.
Yeah, it looks like I'm... Yeah, this is...
Don't say that. We just picked up a new sponsor, so... Here we go.
Yeah.
I want to give a shout out to Bleeding Fool also, because if it wasn't for I think Chris and I kind of getting in contact with each other, I don't know that we would have had these guys. And I really appreciate you being here and taking the time to be with us and telling us about Florida Man. And Varian, are you okay with us playing that promo one more time before we head out? Because we're getting close to the end of our
guess.
Hold on one second, just for a giggle. on NBC2, which is a local station, Florida man called 911 and threatened to kill people at a house party in his neighborhood. Just for you guys.
It's beautiful.
Did he threaten to kill them with kindness, which is the name of his machete?
No, he probably was going to go over and sneeze on him.
That's another true story.
We're in the state of not wearing face masks because of the Constitution. Because I don't have to wear a face mask.
Our great governor just is passing a $500 fine if you don't wear it. So,
I saw. Wow. Like, you can take a picture. I'm going to keep taking a picture of you two and sending it in and saying, I'm seeing these guys. They're in your state. They're not wearing their masks.
Yeah.
Yeah, even if they start wearing it, you could always use that picture and say you just took it.
Yeah.
One last thing, the Florida Man 240, the Alpha Car iRace series, the Florida Man 240 at Daytona is this Sunday. If you're into iCar racing, this is a promotion they're doing. It's on our Facebook page. Just go to facebook.com/FloridaManComic, and you can find out about the book, but you can always also see a bunch of shenanigans, including this video, and we'll be keeping up with the IndyCon all weekend. This is a great event.
Awesome.
And we also want to acknowledge that Luke Stone has started or is starting his show at 7 p.m. Comics Nuts and Bolts. Please check out Luke Stone. He's presumably live right now. I'm going to go check in on him, but go ahead and roll that wonderful beam footage.
Yeah, I got
All
the
right.
video shared. So
You did? Okay, great.
All right, here we
Thanks,
go.
guys.
roll it. No sound.
Oh yeah, go ahead. Pull that. Put that
Is
on
there
pause.
no-
I've got the full version here. I loaded it up.
Hey man, y'all got beer still?
You've seen the stories. Now, writer Mike Barron and artist Todd Mulrooney are bringing the quintessential Florida man, Gary Duba, to life.